solving exponential and logarithmic equations. This is by introducing logarithms to exponential equations can be converted to linear equations and then solved. So for instance, if you have an equation like 4 power of, that's 4x power of x equals to 12, for you to find the value of x, because these are indices, but you realize here, we cannot have a common base. You can't have a common base, and there is no way that we can express this in index form so that we have common bases all through and solve. Therefore, you have no option apart from introducing logarithms. And therefore, if I introduce logarithm in both sides, I say that log, that is the base of 10, that is log to base of 10 of 4x equals to log base of 10 of 12. So that means, remember we said that log bx is the same as x log ab. So here we have log to base of 10 4x, and therefore as x comes here we shall have x log 4 equals to log 12. So therefore we need x. So we will say that x equals to log 12 all over log of 4. So here you will use your calculator, you press log 12 and log 4. You will find the answer to be 1.7, and therefore x equals to 1.792. So that will be the value of x. I want to do another equation here that you solve for x. Solve for x. You have log to base of 5 of x plus 1 and log to base of 5 of x minus 3 equals to 1. Remember, we have log to base of 5, and therefore we must have on the right hand side log to base of 5. So you need to remember that rule that we talked, that log a equals to 1. And therefore meaning that this 1, if we write to log of base 5, it will be log 5. Log 5 is the same as 1. And therefore we shall have this equation, if we rewrite it, we shall have log base of 5 of x plus 1 plus log of 5, that is x minus 3, this is equal to log of 5. And therefore, after doing that, we need now to use the laws of logarithm. This is an addition, and therefore we can multiply. So we have the common base, that's log to 5. So we multiply this and this one, it means it is x plus 1 times x minus 3. This will be equal to log to base of 5 of 5. And therefore, now that the bases are the same, and therefore the powers are the same, so we shall equate the powers and say that x plus 1 into x minus 3, this will be equal to 5. So we open this, x into that, it will be x squared minus 3x, that is this and this one, and this and that one. You get this one? So we shall also have 1 times x, it is plus x, and 1 times negative 3 is minus 3 equals to 5. Like terms together, so we bring this here. This one will give you x squared. This is minus 2x. You bring this other side, it will be negative 3 minus 5. Negative 3 minus 5 becomes negative 8. This equals to 0. So if you realize that one becomes a quadratic equation. So we can solve this quadratic equation by using another method, factor method, formula method. So if I use formula method, it will be x equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So this will be equal to minus this. Minus 2 becomes 2 positive plus or minus the square root of b squared is 4, that is negative 2 squared becomes 4, minus 4 times a is 1, times this is plus, now that is 6, plus that 2, all over 2a, that is all over 2. So which is equal to 2 plus or minus, this is 32 plus 4 is 36, square root of 36 is 6, all over 2. So our x becomes equal to, that is 8 over 2, which is 4, or x is negative 2 minus, that's negative 4 over 2 is negative 2. So those are the values of x. Those are the values of x. I want to do another equation. Like if you are given an example that you simplify, you can be given, that is example 3. You need to know that if you are asked to simplify log, simplify, this is log base of 5, 1 over 5. So how can you simplify this? We need to have something here whereby, remember this is 1 divided by 5, 1 over 5. So if we use the laws of logarithm, this one we can say it is log because of that is base of 5, 1 of 1 minus, because it's the division, minus log base of 5 of 5. Now there are some things that you need to note. That when we talk about indices, when we talk about a raised to power of 0, we usually say is 1. A raised to power of 0, it is 1. And therefore, if we write this in logarithm form, we can say that log of a 1 equals to 0. So log of a 1 equals to 0. And therefore, log of 5, 1, this gives you 0. I know majority of the students cannot note that. This is log, this log now, because you introduce this law here now, log of a 1 is 0. So log of 5, 1 will be equal to 0, minus, we know that log of a equals to 1. So it will be minus 1, minus 1. So this will be equal to 0 minus 1, which is equal to negative 1. So this is the answer, the simplified of that question. So I want to do one last example. That is, if you are given a question like this one, that we find for x, we find the value of x in this. That is, if you are given log 381 equals to, that is example 4. You write example 4. Example 4. You are given that we solve for x on log 381 equals to x. 81 equals to x. So here we need now to remember the laws of indices, how we change indices to logarithmic notation, from indices to logarithmic and vice versa. And therefore this means if we write the index notation here, if we write in index notation, it implies that 3x will be equal to 8, 1. From whatever I've done here. So that is a 0 equals to 1. It will be a 0 equals to 1. That is what I've used here. So after getting that, we express 81 into base of 3. So it will be 3 power x equals to 3 power 4. So that means it implies that x equals to 4. That one is direct. It had no much stress. That is, it had no much stress. That is, okay, x is 4. So those are some of the questions that I wanted you to note. Also, I can do one more example. Let me do one more example. That is example 5. Example 5. You are given, it can be that you are given a question like solve log to base of 6, 2. Just that. If you are asked to solve just that, the first thing you do here, the first thing we do is we need to let, or to just introduce a t, or a letter here. We introduce a letter so that we have an equal sign. We say that we let now the log 6, 2 to be equal to t, or another letter. So after doing that, we now change it to index form. It will be 6t equals to 2. So if we have 60 equals to 2, we need to introduce, like I've said before, we introduce logarithm in both sides. It will be log 6 of t equals to log of 2. So that means t log of 6 equals to log of 2, and therefore t equals to log of 2 all over log of 6. You just place your calculator and get the answer. That's log of 2 divided by log of 6. The answer becomes 0.38, 0.3868 when you press your calculator. And therefore, because we were asked to solve this, and therefore, log of base of 6 of 2 is equal to 0.3868. So that is how we solve such a question. That is how we solve such a question. Thank you for listening to my tutorial. Ensure you subscribe if you haven't. And then we shall meet for more questions on the same topic before we